What's up, guys? Back in another Konosuba video. In today's video, instead of, I was gonna make a video, by the way, about like who's better, Aru or Iris, and then who's better, Celio or Erica, kind of thing. But I figured I might as well just make a tier list on who the best swimsuit unit is. These are just gonna include the 4 stars, as the 3 stars are, you know, either free or the summonable ones, which aren't really the hardest to nab. And I just didn't want to have to deal with 3 stars, since the 4 stars are pretty much what everybody is going to go for and kind of the reason you summon on banners in the first place. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So off rip, we have Aqua. So Aqua has a 126 elementalist physical damage, 105 AoE lightning physical damage and a small party heal, and a 172 single target lightning physical damage and a party 20% ultimate gauge charge. Pretty solid. The AoE lightning heal is on the weaker side for healing attacks for Aquas. I believe she's tied with the OG one for a second skill, but most of the other Aquas have harder hitting skills, or they just don't attack in their heal. The 20% ultimate gauge is pretty nice, and overall a pretty solid unit. Has aged a little bit. She's not going to be dishing out the most crazy damage, but as a support she does her job. Unfortunately, no legendary Aqua is coming out, but for right now, this Aqua is still pretty good. I use her. I don't think she's S tier worthy, but I do like her enough to put her in A. If I can put her on the team, I pretty much will put her on the team if she, you know, has a slot, which most of the time she always does. So that's pretty nice. I'm glad that I was able to pull her and she didn't just deteriorate into dust, unlike the next unit. So the thing with Swimsuit Darkness is I'm slightly biased because I kind of use her to like shimmy through some of the dungeon stages, but unfortunately that's not going to save her in this tier list, as she is easily the worst swimsuit character, placing herself in D. She has 102 elementalist physical damage, not like it matters because she can't hit anything, and a self tier 2 physical defense buff. She has a single ally tier 3 physical attack buff and a single ally tier 3 physical defense buff. This is going to target the same person. So unfortunately, if you want to make her, you know, tankier as a tier 3 instead of the tier 2, then you're going to have to give the attack as well, which is not going to help you. And then she has a party tier 2 agility buff and a self tier 2 taunt. This skill is probably the nicest thing she has, but unfortunately her doing no damage is not going to help her, so she is landing in D. Sorry, Darkness, it is what it is. Next up is Chris, and woo! So Chris is going to be the last swimsuit unit that we're getting. She is the part 3 of this year's swimsuit banners. She is Earth. She has 126 elementalist physical damage, 154 single target Earth physical damage, and a party 4-second cooldown reduction, and then a 178 single target Earth physical damage and a self tier 2 agility buff. So the 4-second cooldown is very nice. For those of you who use Bell in the previous Fire Arena, or just in general, know how strong that cooldown reduction is. Going to help you get off some good hits. Plus, you know, Chris has the nice agility down ult, which if you use OG Chris back in the day, I'm sure you are plenty aware of. Very strong. Definitely a really strong unit. And I know people on the JP version, English, sorry. People on the JP version use her with the spa / bath towel, Melissa, who's also Earth and apparently really strong. I won't go over what she does, but her and Chris are really good together, and they're going to help Earth, you know, get up there and do some good damage. Definitely one of the best swimsuit units, and I think, you know, she is one of the 2 units that deserve to be an S tier. No shocker, as they are, you know, coming out this year compared to the units from last year. Speaking of units from last year, my personal favorite of the swimsuit units, but I'm biased because I like Wiz, is Wiz. So Wiz has aged a little bit. She's still really good. She has a 105 lightning magic damage and a small heal. She has a 162 single target lightning magic damage and a tier 2 magic defense debuff, and then a 223 single target lightning magic damage. So it's Wiz, you know, she tanks. all that good stuff. This is also the best Wiz sub, so I'm gonna knock her into B tier, just because her defense debuff, you know, her ult kind of takes care of that. So she's kind of just like doing lightning damage, but she can tank for the team and best Wiz sub. I don't think she's aged that much, but unfortunately, as time goes on, she is gonna have, you know, her age showing. Unfortunately, we have units like Chris who are doing all these crazy things, and Wiz, just with defense debuff, unfortunately, is not going to cut it. But I don't want to be too harsh on her because she still can do some work. I wish I had her. I'm sorry, Wiz, you aren't B tier, but you know, best Wiz sub is a very nice title to have, so she's not getting knocked down any lower. Next up is one of the new units that just came out, is Iris. Iris, of course, is greedy as always. You're going to want to run her in the back to just kind of show up and just do some damage real quick with her skills and be done with it. She has a 126 elementalist physical damage basic attack, a 134 single target win physical damage, and a self tier 3 physical attack buff, and a 179 single target win physical damage, 242 if above 7% HP, and a self tier 2 agility buff. Now, while she is greedy with her buffs, a tier 2 agility buff and a tier 3 physical attack buff are pretty nice. If you're gonna be greedy, at least give yourself, you know, the best of the best buff, or, you know, do insane like 5 million damage or some crazy, you know. Very solid unit. I personally am going to slide her into A. Totally not salty that a couple people using Iris have beat me to MVP because I don't have her. I have no idea what you're talking about. Anyway, no, very solid unit. Only ever going to use her in the back though. So do keep that in mind. But comparing her to the other swimsuit units, she definitely can land a slot A in my eyes. Next up is Aru. So there's like one thing with this Aru that I'm not a huge fan of. Otherwise, I'd actually like her a lot, and I would be super biased enough to put her in S, but I'm not going to do that. Aru is wind, 113 wind magic damage, 197 single target wind magic damage, and a self, meaning only her, 4-second cooldown reduction. Unfortunate. If it was party, that would be insane. She'd be an S. She also has a 179 single target wind magic damage, 242 if above 70% HP, and a party 10% ultimate gauge charge, and she has a general magic up sub, so very nice for, you know, your future Arus or other Arus that you're using over this one when it comes to other elements. Very solid, definitely deserves A. I low-key think if she didn't have the self condition and it was everybody, she would be an S, but sorry Aru, they did you dirty. Still a very solid unit though. I'm pretty sure her cooldowns are on the high end if I'm not mistaken, but don't quote me on that. I remember when I took a look, I think they're in the high 20s seconds if I'm not mistaken, which is unfortunate, but you know, at least she has that self 4-second cooldown reduction to help with that. Still, overall, Aru, you know, strong wind damage. Unfortunately though, like I said, self kind of hurts her a bit. Now we have Rin. Rin is in a weird position because there's a 3-star free one that kind of does more work than her. She has 113 fire magic damage, 161 single target fire magic damage, and a tier 2 magic defense debuff, and a 161 single target fire magic damage, and a self tier 2 magic attack buff. So the self tier 2 magic attack buff kind of sucks. That's not for everybody. The tier 2 magic defense debuff also kind of sucks because it's not like fire characters are, you know, known for not having that. You have Wiz ult, you have Yin ult, which is going to boost your magic attack. Just most of these buffs are generally widespread around fire mages, and you know, the 3-star Rin has attack down and poison, which, you know, I know the Halloween Union has poison, but the attack down, very good for the Shogun arena that just came out. I'm pretty sure she was on the most meta team that all the whales were running, a 3-star unit. So when a 3-star unit that's free kind of, you know, makes you irrelevant, not looking too great. She's not a horrible unit where you just would be like, oh, I'd rather just not use Rin whatsoever, but definitely age, and unfortunately she's probably just gonna shoot down there with darkness. If you know any other fire mage comes out. Unfortunate for Rin because I actually really liked using her, but you know, with age, you know, comes less relevancy. I think English is difficult sometimes. Anyway, next up is Celio. So, Darkness has a friend. I'm not a fan of her at all. She is water, and it's always gonna hurt her because she is magical water, and we're about to go into physical water craziness with, funny enough, the next unit on this list and legendary Aqua. So already not a great start. She has 113 water magic damage, a medium party heal, and a tier 2 magic attack buff, and a 170 single target water magic damage, 228 if above 70% HP, and a tier 1 magic defense debuff. Now tier 1 is just already kind of yucky. It is defense debuff, but it's tier 1, and then a party tier 2 magic attack buff with a heal. It's not anything too crazy. I mean, the tier 1 might as well just not be there and just like cleanse haze or something weird and more niche, at least would be better. Definitely not a great look for Celio, considering we've had crazy units like, you know, the fire one was more usable than that. We had Idol Celio, which was crazy good, you know, was pretty much the unit you wanted to reroll for. So Celio unfortunately is seeing a fall from grace with the card she's getting. Sorry if you're, you know, her biggest fan, but definitely darkness tier in D. Next up, we have a jump to, you know, another really good unit. We have Swimsuit Erica. She is water, 126 elementalist physical damage, 113 AoE water physical damage, and a party tier 2 agility buff, and a 154 single target water physical damage, 205 if above 70% HP. Definitely gonna put her up in S. Very solid. The party tier 2 agility buff is really nice. She's gonna be whipping out some nice damage. Plus, you have her variety of ults if you need it for her 35% ult gauge up. She has her ults that buff. Definitely wouldn't recommend. I think it's Haze on the second one. I don't even have it unlocked, funny enough, because it's just something I never use. But this Erica is going to see a lot of play. She's part of the water trio. I can't remember off the top of my head who the third water unit is. That is the fault of me not playing JP. I apologize. But I know it's Erica, legendary Aqua, and another water character. So obviously this Erica is going to be very good if she is considered, you know, the water trio. Definitely putting her in S with Chris. Funny enough, these are the two go-to units that I recommend pulling for, and they're on two different banners. Unfortunately, they are going to be on the part 2 swimsuit banner, Erica with Celio, and then Chris will be on the third one. I recommend, if you have the quartz, picking one of them to try to go for. I said this before, I believe you can pull Erica on Chris's banner, but at a lesser rate, like the other swimsuit characters from last year. From what I've seen, that is still a thing, but, you know, go to the rates yourself just to make sure. Like I said before, I will notify you if that changes and it turns out you can't anymore, but for right now, I'm pretty sure you can pull the past banner characters such as the Iris and Aru on the next banner, and then the Celio and Erica on the banner after that, which is Chris. And of course, before we wrap this up, there is one more unit, that is Melissa. So this Melissa was kind of a meme when she came out because we had OG Melissa, which was crazy good, like the best character in the game, and then this Melissa came out around launch and was far from that. She has 126 elementalist physical damage, 124 AoE fire physical damage, and a self tier 2 physical attack buff. Then she has a 178 single target fire physical damage and a tier 2 physical attack debuff. Now the self tier 2 physical attack buff, not the greatest. If it was tier 3, it'd be kind of nice, but the selfishness kind of sucks if it's only for tier 2. And then she has an attack debuff, which, you know, is nice and all, but it's not anything too crazy. Definitely a downgrade from OG Melissa in the day, and I don't think I've ever seen Swimsuit Melissa ran. I believe there is a 3-star Fire Melissa that pretty much is just better than her. Can't remember it off the top of my head because I actually don't really use Melissa myself, but this Melissa definitely is going to be knocked down into the C tier with Ren. Funny enough, they came out on the same banner, if I'm not mistaken. Saw many of them when I was summoning for Wiz, unfortunately. But that is the tier list. Let me know down below what you think. If there's anything you would change, all that good stuff. And like I said before, swimsuit units are limited, so if you are saving course for anniversary and you have a little bit left over, maybe give a thought about summoning for at least Erica or Chris, especially Erica if you were planning on going all in for the legendary Aqua. But other than that, thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will catch y'all in the next Konosuba video.